Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I'm so thrilled you're tuning in because today we are tackling what is arguably one of the biggest hurdles in literally any health journey. Yep, we're talking about the morning meal. We're breaking down a really fantastic, weight loss friendly 7-day breakfast guide, totally inspired by dietary expert Ayesha Nasser. If you're just incredibly tired of eating the exact same bland thing every single morning, or, if you're struggling to hit those protein goals right out of the gate, you're going to absolutely love the breakdown we have for you today. Let's just dive right in. Now, just to make sure we aren't just reading off a monotonous recipe list, we've organized these 7 morning meals into 5 really logical categories. We've got the daily breakfast dilemma, traditional breakfasts reimagined, quick breads and wraps, high-protein power bowls, and finally, the key rules for weight loss. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the daily breakfast dilemma. Okay, so here's a phrase that probably haunts your household just as much as it haunts mine. What should we make for breakfast today? Our source shares this super relatable childhood anecdote. She talks about growing up constantly hearing her mother ask, "Children, what should I make?" And the funny thing is, whenever they actually threw out a suggestion, the response was literally always, "No, we don't have that ingredient," or "No, we can't make that." It's this endless daily cycle of decision fatigue, right? And honestly, that's exactly what leads us to make those quick, unhealthy choices. So what's the fix? Well, we need to pivot from that morning panic to a solid solution. The core idea here is to completely eliminate decision fatigue by having a set 7-day menu of high-protein, calorie-conscious breakfasts that actually support weight loss. By mapping this out in advance, we're taking all the guesswork out of your mornings. You just wake up, look at the plan, and execute a meal that actually moves you closer to your goals. Simple as that. Moving right along to Section 2, Traditional Breakfasts Reimagined. Okay, our very first meal is besan ka chilla, which is a really delicious savory graham flour pancake. Now, this perfectly illustrates a crucial concept from our source material. Portion requirements differ quite significantly for men and women because of baseline caloric needs. For women, the golden ratio is 3 tablespoons of besan, 1 beaten egg absolutely loaded with vegetables, and 3 to 4 tablespoons of yogurt on the side. Men, since they generally require more calories, bump that up to 5 tablespoons of besan, keep that same single egg, and upgrade to a half cup of Greek yogurt. It's the exact same meal, it's just scaled properly for your specific metabolic engine. And that actually builds perfectly into our second meal, the famously indulgent paratha. Look, yes, you can actually eat a paratha while losing weight, but there are strict parameters. Women get a smaller 60 to 70 gram paratha, while men get an 80 to 100 gram portion. But here's the best part. Both get 2 chicken seekh kebabs for this massive hit of protein. The real game changer here, though, is how you dress it. Instead of slathering on high-calorie cheese or extra oil, you just use 2 to 3 teaspoons of yogurt to keep the whole wrap moist. It's a super smart, low-calorie swap that literally saves the entire dish. Actually, our source interjects here with this incredibly honest and relatable story. She mentions this tempting breakfast buffet in Lahore that offers endless chana and paratha for just 499 rupees. And she admits that even as a professional dietitian, knowing full well she shouldn't overeat, it is incredibly hard to control yourself when you're in that environment. It's such a great reminder that dietary discipline is tough for literally everyone. And that's exactly why making these controlled versions at home is so absolutely vital to your success. Which brings us to meal number 3, the homemade chana or chickpea alternative. To make this work for weight loss, you make a nice plate of chickpeas using a really low amount of high-quality oil, and then you add 2 boiled eggs for extra protein. But listen up, because here is the strict rule. Females should not add roti or bread to this meal. Why? Well, because chickpeas already give you a pretty heavy dose of carbohydrates right alongside their protein. Adding bread is just doubling up on the carbs, and we definitely don't want that. Men, because of those higher calorie allowances we talked about, can get away with half a roti or naan here. All right, Section 3, quick breads and wraps. Meal number 4 is an absolute staple, the classic egg sandwich. For women, it's just 1 single slice of brown bread. But here's a neat little psychological trick. Cut it into triangles to make it feel like a full traditional sandwich. Men get 2 slices. Both get an impressive payload of 2 eggs, 1 slice of low-fat cheese, and a massive handful of vegetables. Oh, and if you're someone who just needs your morning tea, make sure to keep the milk low. More milk directly equals more calories for sure. Meal 5 is an absolute powerhouse, you guys, the tortilla wrap. Here is exactly how you build a super satisfying, high-protein bite. You start with a properly sized wrap, again, 60 grams for females, 80 for males. Then you load that up with 100 grams of cooked chicken keema, that's minced chicken, or a couple of chicken shami kebabs. Throw in an egg, a slice of low-fat cheese, and basically pack whatever space is left with mixed vegetables. Now, if you're not a fan of raw veggies in a wrap, our source suggests just cooking them right into an omelet first. Super easy. Next up, Section 4, High-Protein Power Bowls. Meal 6 relies on a Greek yogurt bowl. Now, real Greek yogurt can actually be pretty hard to find if you live outside of major cities, but making it at home is surprisingly easy. You just take regular low-fat yogurt, place it in a muslin cloth, tie it up, and literally just hang it over your sink overnight. The water drains out, and boom, you're left with thick, creamy Greek yogurt in the morning. Our source humorously adds a very important step 3. Make sure to cover it securely to protect it from house lizards. Gotta love that practical, traditional wisdom. But stop right here because this is an absolutely critical warning. You must add 1 scoop of whey protein powder to your yogurt bowl. Eating yogurt all by itself, or as we'll see in a second, oats all by themselves, it just does not provide enough protein to constitute a proper weight loss focused meal. You absolutely need that dedicated scoop of whey to keep you full and to preserve your muscle mass while you're running a calorie deficit. And that brings us perfectly to our 7th and final meal, high protein porridge. This is basically the ultimate balancing act for your macronutrients. You've got oats or barley for your complex carbs, half to 1 cup of milk for your liquid and some trace protein, that totally mandatory scoop of protein powder for your core protein, fresh fruit for your vitamins, and exactly 1 tablespoon of nuts for your healthy fats. And our source is super explicit about this. You have to strictly limit those nuts to just 1 tablespoon. They're super healthy, yes, but they are incredibly dense in calories. Let's wrap it all up with Section 5, Key Rules for Weight Loss. Okay, so understanding the why behind all these recipes is the real secret sauce here. So what are the golden rules? First, you have to prioritize high protein in literally every single morning meal, whether you're getting that from eggs, chicken, or whey powder. Second, you really need to adhere strictly to those portion differences. Men and women just burn calories at different rates. It's biology. Third, you don't have to abandon the traditional foods you love. Just be smart and prepare them with low amounts of high-quality oil. And finally, be clever about moisture. Swap out high-calorie stuff like heavy cheese for low-calorie alternatives, like a few teaspoons of yogurt. And that is the whole shebang. We've made it to the end of today's explainer. So I have to ask, which of these 7 healthy, high-protein breakfasts are you going to commit to trying tomorrow morning? My challenge to you right now is to pick just one, write down the ingredients, and completely eliminate your morning indecision. If you found this structured breakdown helpful, make sure to stick around because we've got the 7-day lunch and dinner variations coming up next. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.